Okay, morning everyone, welcome back, Happy New Year. If you haven't just watched our first video of 2017, then like I said, Happy New Year. We've just done the Taylormade M1 review, so link down below. If you've not seen that one, make sure you tune in and give it a look through. Second review of 2017 is going to be the M2. So interesting one for me this, because I've got last year's model in the bag, and it's been a favourable club for me. I'm not a great not great with the driver, full stop, but I found the M2 quite stable, and it's been one of the better drivers I've had for many years, to be fair. And like I said, I found it very consistent off the tee. It wasn't the longest for me, but it's certainly the most consistent. So I'm interested to see how this new 2017 model comes out. I'm going to start off describing in terms of the aesthetics, and then we'll get some technical data from Joey the Tweet. Let's be fair, these reviews have been knocking about now from a couple of the big boys the last few weeks, so you'll know more about this club in terms of aesthetics and the technicalities of all than I do probably, but I'll at least give my opinion on it in terms of the visuals. It's changed. Where's my... is that my club? No, it's here. Where's it gone? It's hiding around there. So again, it's this introduction of that lime green. It was very much red and black in the M1. It was black or grey and gold in last year's M2. And again, it's this introduction or carry on of this lime green colour into the M1. And from the top of the clubs, if I start there this time round, they've done exactly the same. It's a slightly more teardrop head shape than last year's M2, but this the white line that sits at the front of the club head has been narrowed down. That's very much in the same way as it has been done on the M1, and I probably do like it. It's probably a fairer balance between the black and the white, but it really does sit nice behind the club head. Like I said, it's less bulbous, slightly more sleeker look to it in this year's model, but the underneath is quite different. I think, I mean, again, from what I've read, this kind of geo-acoustic, which we had another claim of a club manufacturer that had worked on acoustics, hadn't they? Do you remember? Yeah, it was. I think it was Callaway, was it? Yeah, perhaps was. Yeah. And this again is to dampen down the noise and the sound that comes from obviously the club face. What they've done with the underneath, I don't know whether I'm that fond of it really. It looks as though there's a bit missing. Yeah, it's a bit plasticky, doesn't it? It looks. It's yeah, it probably is a little bit plasticky around this particular part, and again, but there's a cutout from it, and it just looks, like I said, as though there's a plate that needs to go on the top, but it's not going to make no difference to my opinion on it in terms of performance, because like I said, when that's sat behind the ball, you see none of that at all. But like I said, if anybody wants to know my opinion on the underneath of the M2, it seems slightly irrelevant, but that's it. I like the lime green colours again, that's fine. The speed pocket, Joe, was something that they've worked on, haven't they? Yeah. Got any info on speed pockets for me? Here's somewhere. Yeah, so a new speed pocket that's 3 times more flexible. Okay, so again, that springboard effect. Yeah. Don't forget, these are all governed by the ruling bodies, and there are limitations on what you can do in terms of these springboard and assistance you've got, but they'll be working within those regulations. But anything else that they've done with it, Joe? Any technical data you can give us of any interest? Can you read from the Taylormade website for us? So the geo-acoustic features a combination between geometry and acoustical engineering to I knew that anyway, move on. More forgiveness. That's obvious. Best class and sound. It just says the same letter, better everything. So the same as last year. That's it in a nutshell. The same letter, better everything. Well, let the average golfer be the judge of that, Joe, seeing as I've got this in my bag currently. Now then, with the changing up the reviews, or at least we're going to try to change them up a bit this year. We'll see how successful they are and see how it pans out. But what we did with the M1, I hit a number of balls off camera, and we'll review the data a bit later on when we've got time to sort of have a sit down and go through it in a bit more detail, and then we'll finish the video there. So we've done exactly the same now with the M2. I hit 10 balls with this rather than, I think we hit 15 with the M1, because there was quite a number of variables in terms of the setup of the M1, and with this the adjustability only becomes in the hosel, so it's not quite got the amount of adjustability, which really in terms of technology, there's not a massive difference, is there really? It's the adjustability that goes into the M1 as opposed to the M2. I'm using exactly the same shaft with this Fujikura Pro 56 gram shaft, but interestingly enough in this, and I'm going to go back and hit a few of the, on the M1 actually, I really struggle with the stiff shaft in this club head. Yeah. Don't ask me why, exactly the same club head, went for the same shaft as what I'd used in the M1, and I did struggle. So I've gone with a regular shaft in this, and I found that I'm hitting it a damn sight better. And like I said, I may even go back and hit a few more balls with the M1 before we leave. But I mentioned on the other video as well, I like the look of the shaft, the lime green and grey. It's, again, doesn't have any effect on performance, but I like the way it looks. Are we good to go, Joe?
All set to go, Joe.
Have you wished everybody Happy New Year yet, Joe?
No, Happy New Year. Taggers.
Taggers, yeah, don't forget taggers, mate. The average golfers, remember, that's who we are. Right, let's see how average this is. That's called below average, Joe.
Yeah, it's called the Joey the Tweet shot.
No, hang on.
No, it's not that bad.
So yeah, blocked out to the right, not a good shot at all. 239.
239.
Right, come on, and back into it.
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's slightly better. To be fair, again, I was getting some better balls off camera, which is often the case, but that's not too bad, that one. I don't think it's going to do anything fantastic in terms of performance.
240.
Okay, come on. Must do better, Joe. It's probably a better ball in terms of distance. I mean, first of all, let's just have a little bit of a breather and a talk about, we'll watch that one come to an end. Not great again, is it really? 240, go to the 250 mark. Yeah. So again, if you watch my videos, driving again, not my strongest point. So if I'm getting anything between 250 and 260, then that's where I consider to be a decent club for me, and that's what I achieved with the current M2. We shouldn't talk about comparisons at this stage because we can always do a head-to-head at a later date, and it's, again, perhaps almost irrelevant, because the point is that if you've got the M2 from last year, like me, unless I was going to see a real marked difference of a sort of 15-20 yard jump up in yardage and performance, the likelihood is I'd stay put anyway. So, you know, the head-to-head thing between 12 months worth of technology, in this case anyways, in my opinion, is minimal. The fact is, though, it's still a very, very nice club, very, very much easy to use. Again, this easy to launch thing, which has been apparent through all drivers and all irons for the last couple of years, really. That's to me where the club technology has changed considerably. It's not necessarily in overall performance and distance. My driver numbers are not changing that great over the last year or so, but in terms of overall distance, but in terms of stability, forgiveness for off-centre hit is where, to me, the changes of in technology have certainly assisted the average golfer. The feel from the club, the geoacoustics, I mean, I hit a few off camera earlier, which sound a little bit loud.
Yeah, these were a bit loud for me.
I think maybe a few more centre strike seems to have dampened it a little bit. It doesn't sound too bad, does it? It's not a hugely different feel to what I've got currently in my bag. It's that simple, really. I can't really, I would guess if you blindfolded me, and stuck the two clubs in my hand and switched around, I wouldn't know a great deal of difference. I think the difference at the moment is I'd like to work on more time in getting the correct shaft for me, because this doesn't feel as stable. I'm a bit wayward with this, and again, not quite getting the performance.
251.
So again, it's in the numbers, but I don't feel as though I'm getting the best from this, to be fair, at the moment. And like I said, interesting for me, last year I tried the M1 2016 or 2015, whenever it sort of early 2016, wasn't it? Or was it 2015? Anyway, I tried the last version of the M1, and in last year's models, I preferred the M2 than the M1. Now, without too much of a spoiler alert, and hopefully you've watched the M1 video that we've just done already, I'd switch that round completely this year. I actually found I really liked, not that I don't like this, I just don't see a massive difference between this and my current M2, whereas I really did like the performance that I got the M1. Just nearly got it.
I know, yeah. That was almost a golf ball to the head.
Right, anyway, let's see if we can just get a little bit of a decent ball, because the only thing I will say is I got better balls off camera. That's not bad, Joe.
No, it's not too bad actually.
That should do. It's right down the target line. Well, we get a good one to finish. You think that looks quite big to me? Yeah, it's the biggest one on camera. It's 255, and like I said, this is no doubt going to be another big seller. I think I'm right in saying that the M2 was the biggest selling driver of 2016, Joe.
I think it might.
This one won't do too bad either, to be fair. It's easy to hit, it's easy on the eye. That's definitely going to attract a lot of people in the shops when it's sitting on the shelf. It looks nice, it performs really good. You can't really say a lot more about it. It's a very good all-round driver. So like I said, what we're going to do, I'm going to leave it there before I do too much of a final analysis, because like I said, we'll see you back at the office when we do a quick overview of my 15 shots with the M2. Okay, welcome back in the office, and as we said, time to have a look through some of the numbers that we got off screen. So don't forget, it's the M2 driver, and because there's less adjustability, less permutations in the setup for the M2 driver, we hit less shots off camera in terms of recording the data. So this is just 10 shots off camera, very much set up as 10.5 degrees and as standard. The main difference being in this setup is that I used a regular shaft in the M2, which was altogether odd. It was exactly the same shaft in terms of the spec, in terms of the make of the shaft, but I went for the regular option, and don't ask me why. No doubt somebody out there can tell me the science behind it all, but I could not hit the M2 driver with the same stiff shaft as what I used in the M1. Maybe spend a bit more time and that'd have been all right. Maybe it was just a complete anomaly, but I found the regular shaft to be far more suited in the M2 driver, and I was a bit baffled by that, to be quite honest with you, but there you go. And I think I haven't watched through the videos yet in terms of the footage for what I hit on camera. It's a couple of decent balls with the M1 whilst the camera was switched on. But in terms of a camera switched off, we started off with the first ball of the day there, you can see. Was pretty much out there in terms of one of the longest, if not the longest, between the two drivers. It was total yardage carrier 239, total overall distance 264. Again, relative to ball and club head speed, 141 ball speed, club head speed up there at 96, so it's all obviously relative. Interestingly enough there, the launch angle is 16.7 degrees. You'd be slightly maybe looking to tweak that down a little bit, but that high launch, long carry has certainly worked, and the spin remained even for the high launch of this, the backspin wasn't too bad at 2.3. Across the board, I think the overall analysis would be that we did get a few that crept up very high on this, and I mentioned that throughout the video. I would suggest that you've got a group there in the middle of around 17 degrees of launch, and I think that's can be said to be too high. We need to bring that down a bit. It affected the spin. But if you look at the overall average numbers again, average club head speed, ball speed rather, 137. Club head speed of 93, and again that's very comparable to what we've just recorded with the M1. Spin was a bit lower overall, 2289, and the overall distance 249. And again, if I've still got the figures with me, averaging at 247 on the M1, but there's a few bad ones to take out of there, and that would change that considerably. Didn't hit too bad on camera. Again, I've had a quick flick through on those, sort of again average around this sort of 250 mark, so I'd be more than comfortable with. I'd suggest that the M2 was very much in line with my current M2. I record distance between 250 and 260. Like I said, I'm not overly long off the tee with driver, so for me it's all about stability. I hit the M2 again fairly straight. over the 10 shots that I've just glanced through there. Not major deviances off the tee, so I'd be more happy with that, the fact that it's straight, controllable, and if I get 250 to 260, I'd be more than happy. I think again on the M2, possibly a few tweaks needed in terms of the shaft. Not 100% sure that was right for me, but again, this is the whole point of reviews really, and more importantly, the whole point of club fitting is get out there yourself and make sure you take the time to try the different shafts, get yourself a good club fitter and find the right product for you. For me personally, like I said, I use the M2 currently. I didn't find it massively different, the M2. I really enjoyed the M1 and I thought that performed very, very well, even though on the stats wise they weren't hugely different. I just felt more comfortable with the M1. I liked the feel it gave, just the overall performance and the setup that I had. I really, really liked, and I would have considered putting that one in the bag. The M2, for me, a very, very good club, very easy to hit, and will be a big, big selling club again. But it didn't do anything more than my current M2, it's that simple. But I love the M2 and it's in the bag, so it's already got a thumbs up from me. So there is, for me, very, very good performing club. Another big seller again for Taylormade, no doubt about it. But the important thing is, as you've seen in these numbers on the last 2 videos we've done, get yourself out there, try different shafts, try different setups, and make sure you find the right product for you. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. As ever, if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. Thumbs up if you can, if you like the video, or maybe a thumbs down if you didn't, and comments down below, and we'll make every effort to get back in touch. So thanks for watching. We've got one more to do. We're going to look at an analysis of the performance of the M2 2017 iron, so stick around and watch that one. Bye for now.